All right, everyone, welcome back to Three Trials Barbecue. It's November. It's my first time with a Traeger during holiday season, and it's my first time that I'm going to try to smoke a turkey. Now, in this process today that we're gonna be doing is we're gonna start the brine, and we're gonna be using the Bird Bath by Meat Church. I've used it on a whole chicken before, and I used a little bit of it. I ended up using some more on some chicken breast prior to starting the YouTube channel. These come pre-brined, so we're not going to let it run, overnight. Matt Pittman on his video says if it's pre-brined, you want to do 15 minutes per pound. So this is a 14 pounder. I'm not going to push it more than 4 hours on the brine, but we're going to use the whole bag. We're going to use a whole bag, and we're going to put in a turkey bag with a gallon of water. But before we do that, let's dig into this turkey. I've been hunting for a turkey for 3 months. It's been thawing out. Still seems to have like a little bit of ice in there, which is fine. I'll take that out. A little chunk of ice there. We're just gonna prep it for the brine. We're gonna do that because the plan for tomorrow is to come back. We're gonna get in between the skin here. We're gonna put some compound butter under the skin, between the breast and the skin. And then we're gonna inject it with some butter in a couple spots. I'm not gonna overdo it, but at the same time, it is my first trial with a turkey, smoking it with any of this. Usually I cook them in the oven, but since I have a Traeger, I've been meaning to do a turkey just to do a couple trials prior to Thanksgiving. As soon as we clean this up here, we'll get the turkey bag ready. We'll get the brine mix ready, and then I'll show you guys how I'm gonna do that. To start off with, we have some dried thyme and rosemary. It's about a tablespoon. And then we have the Bird Bath mixture here. So I'm just gonna add this to there. And I also have some garlic cloves here. I'm just going to dice them up a little bit. We're only brining for 4 hours. We're doing it because I'm kind of running a little scared just because it's been pre-brined, and I don't want it to be super salty if I let it go overnight. What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna put this into a pot of water, and we're actually going to warm it up, get it nice and boiling, so all the herbs and everything kind of mesh, and then we're gonna let it cool down, and then we're gonna add it to that gallon of water, or make up the gallon of water, and then we'll let that sit for 4 hours. I'm just gonna put the garlic in there first. Now we'll put remember, this is the whole bag. It says the whole bag for one turkey. I'm just getting it in here. It's not all the water I'm gonna use, but I just kind of want to start stirring it up before I put it on the stove, just to warm it up and let it boil. You could run it cold. Some of the stuff I've seen with this brine is you could do it cold, but they recommend that you heat it up to get it all broken down, because remember, this brine is majority salt, right? So to get it to really break down, you want to boil it, get all the herbs out of there. Our turkey comes pre-brined. Sometimes it's about 9%, 10% solution at most sometimes. But if you put it with another brine after, you could have it super salty. And that's what I don't want for this one, because it is going to be the first trial that I do, before Thanksgiving. And, I want to make turkey sandwiches out of the breast. But I'm also looking to meal prep for a couple days with the leftover turkey. So I may do some mashed potatoes and gravy and use the protein, which is be the turkey, and have a couple days of meal prep. I'm gonna go ahead and transfer it to another pot. I have some water boiling, so I'm gonna get that over here and we'll start putting this in. So boiling, when I first started mixing it all up, you heard nothing but little grains of salt in there. Right now, you don't hear anything, and it smells beautiful. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna leave it out, and we're just gonna continue to mix it, but we're just gonna let it cool down. I have 14 ounces of water in the fridge cooling off, and what that's gonna do is that's going to get that water cool. When this is cooled down, I'm gonna mix it up with that cool water, and we're gonna put that turkey in there, and then I'll be back to show you guys what it's gonna look like in the turkey bag with this mixture, and I'll let you know if I add more water. I got the brine in this turkey bag. It's cooled off. It's actually cold because I added that water. Ready to put this turkey in there. And then put it in this bag. I'm gonna do breast down so we can rest in there. And we're going to get the air out of it. And as you can see, it pretty much submerges all of it, but I'm gonna add a little bit more water. So I added more water. Now it's in there pretty good. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. Now let's take the air out. And this brine smells good. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I really think that the herbs that I added a layer of aroma to what already was a good smelling brine. I'm trying to tie this up. You can see it's fully submerged. We're gonna put it in the fridge. We're gonna let it go for 4 hours. That way it doesn't come out too salty, and we'll cross our fingers that the 4 hours is gonna be enough to give us a juicy, juicy turkey. Well, it's been brining for 4 hours. And we're just gonna let loose in here. Let it all kind of spill out. So what we have to do now is we have to rinse it. We'll get all the salt and all this excess brine out, and we'll have it cleaned, and we'll just pat it down. Okay, so it's all cleaned, brine removed. We're just gonna pat it dry. Get the moisture off of it. The next step to this, other than hope that it comes out juicy, is we're going to let it sit in the fridge overnight. We're gonna let it sit overnight in the fridge, and at that point, what our goal there is to basically dry out some of the skin so we get a nice crispy skin when we do decide to cook it tomorrow. Last thing we want is to have rubbery skin when we do our cook. So At this point, it's done. We've brined it for 4 hours, and all we need to do is let it chill in the fridge. It's been about 14 hours since this turkey has been just sitting in the fridge, drying out the skin. Today what we're gonna do is we're gonna build the injection. And so what I use is a teaspoon of the Sucklebusters barbecue rub, some of this poultry rub, and then we added some onion powder, thyme, garlic powder, and rosemary. And this was the compound butter I was telling you guys about. All it is, it's fresh thyme, rosemary, and sage, and butter. And I took a little bit off of it to put it in the injection mixture. We're gonna be stuffing the turkey with onion and garlic, and we're just gonna give it that herb taste. So I have the injection, and all it is all that stuff that I had there with a little bit of that compound butter, and basically it's about a stick of butter. All I did was mix it in with water, and what you want to do is you want to strain it so it doesn't, mess up your injection needle. And it's going to be as simple as this, guys. So we'll get that ready, and we'll bring the turkey over. It's all right here. I'm gonna go ahead and inject it. I'm gonna start in the breast. You'll see it pump up. We're just gonna give it a little bit. I don't wanna have deep pockets of gotta watch out for these bones. Get some more injection. Okay. Okay, so I got the turkey injected. I got this compound butter. Kind of let it sit out so we can kind of be able to handle it. What you want to do now is you want to lift up the skin. You want to get your fingers in here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to start putting the butter in there. And that's going to help us get a little bit more of that herb flavor into the skin and breast. We're gonna go ahead and take this temperature thing it comes with. We're not gonna need that. We're gonna have our own. You wanna get in here. And rub that in there. Once you have the cavity or this little spot between the breast and the skin, once you have that, you could just basically run that butter right above the breast. You'll feel it. You could actually see it too, but you could also just massage it. Once the butter's in there, just massage it over the skin and use that. This compound butter was made just for the breast, but I'm also going to stick some into the cavity here. But I want to make sure that it has plenty on this breast. I'm going to take some of this and take the rest of it actually. And I'm going to rub it on the inside. Okay, so we got it all spread in there. First, we're gonna grab some olive oil. We're gonna put it around here. We're gonna grab our rub. We're gonna stick those onions and that garlic up in here. We're gonna add a little bit of that Sucklebusters competition rub just inside, just so we don't forget about that. Once the inside cavity is filled up, then we can focus on the outside. We'll flip it upside down. I'm just gonna put a little bit in there, and then put up with the onion, garlic clove, and these are kind of peeled, but we just want to stuff it. Now we're ready to put the olive oil on, and then we'll put this Sucklebusters on there. So we'll go ahead and start with a little bit of olive oil. We're just gonna use this as a binder. Just rub it down. And we're just gonna season the under part of it. Just to start, it's not gonna be our presentation side. We wanna make sure that we have a good coat. Now this is the Sucklebusters competition rub. Has a little bit of paprika, so it's gonna give us some nice savory notes and some nice color. Okay, so we got it all seasoned. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna save some of this compound butter so we can baste it while it cooks. What we're gonna do now is we're just gonna let it chill for about 5 to 15 minutes while I set up the Traeger outside. We're gonna be running some new pellets. Stay tuned and we'll go outside. Okay, so we're outside at the Traeger, and today we're gonna be running some lumberjack competition blend pellets. They got a little bit of maple, hickory, and cherry. That should do pretty well with this turkey. I've heard nothing but good things about lumberjack. We'll see how ashy it gets in there, but I heard that smoke is a little bit better than the Traeger pellets, so we'll go ahead and load them up. So we're gonna go ahead and fire this up. We're gonna start it off at 165 just to start it. Okay everyone, so we're at 165. We're gonna now turn it up to 225. Turkey still needs about 5 minutes. We're going ahead and press that new temperature. We'll let it come up to temp. We're gonna do the super smoke, and we'll be right back with the turkey. All right everyone, so we are now at 225. It's time to put this baby on. I want to insert this probe. We'll put this at inside the breast, the deepest part of the breast, because I want to monitor that while we cook. So let's go ahead and throw this on. I also tied up those legs. Tuck those wings in a little bit. So at this point, it's fired up. We'll let it roll, and we're going to set that probe alarm at 160. Okay, so we'll be back. Okay guys, so it's been 1 hour. Turkey's looking pretty good. Rub seems to be good there. Tuck that wing, but so far it's looking pretty good. We're going to continue to leave it on 225 until it reaches at least 100 degrees internal, and we'll go from there. We'll set the probe alarm to 100, and then that way we'll start cranking up the temperature at 100. Okay, everyone. So we reached the 100 degree mark. At this point, we're going to crank this sucker up to 325. Open this up, and then we're going to start putting our first coat of baste. Okay. I'm just going to drizzle it. Smells good already. We're just going to let it ride at 325. We'll come back in about 30 minutes and we'll just baste it one more time. Okay, everyone, we're back. It's been 30 minutes since we increased the temperature. We're just gonna baste it. It's starting to look really good here. This color is looking super good. You can hear the juices. We are at 2 hours and 15 minutes. We went about an hour and a half with smoke. We are at 120 degrees. I'm gonna then readjust the temp probe to 140, and that's when we'll come and do the next base. Okay, I had an idea, and that is to turn this baby around. That way, we can get some even cooking. We'll be back at 140, and we'll let it go. The skin is looking good. Alright guys, so we reached 140. We'll be back at 160. Okay, 3 hours and 15 minutes. Probe temp is at 158. We're gonna give it its last base. And then we're gonna increase the probe temperature to 165. That's gonna be it. So we'll be back at 165. At 3.5 hours, it hit 165, and it's done. Oh yeah, 165. Look at the juices just come out. This bad boy is ready to come out. Okay, let's get this bad boy out. So we're gonna let it rest 20, 30 minutes. Let those juices kind of get back into the turkey, and then we're gonna we're gonna dice this thing up, and we're gonna start carving it up. So we'll see you guys inside. Okay, everyone. So it's been resting for 30 minutes, and can't make it up. It only took 3.5 hours, and at this point, we're gonna just start carving it, and we'll see what we have. So I love the color on it. It's super juicy. I don't know what it tastes like yet, but I could tell you that I can't wait. And I want to get this off of here first. I mean, the juices are just coming out. We got a beautiful smoke ring. I could see the garlic and the not the garlic, but I see the herbs. You can see the herbs, the garlic herbs. I'm just gonna follow this bone here. We'll get this breast out. It's just so juicy. Look how juicy it is, guys. We're done cutting it up. Ultimate turkey. For the first trial, this was killer. Crispy skin, meat is nice and juicy and delicious. The competition rub really worked well. The injection worked well. The brining, not salty at all. So just to recap, we brined a day before, 4 hours, 15 minutes per pound with the Bird Bath by Meat Church. We cleaned it, cleansed it, left it in the fridge for 14 hours, I should say. And then we came back, we whipped up an injection, and we injected the bird. We then put it on the Traeger Ironwood 885 for 3.5 hours. The first hour and a half, we did it at 225 with super smoke using lumberjack pellets, also competition blend. And then we let it ride after an hour and a half at 325 until done. And I can't make it up. This turkey was done at 3.5 hours and it came out juicy. It's all done. We're gonna have some good dinner, and whatever's left over, we then will meal prep. But thank you guys for joining. If you haven't hit that like, please do, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.